myself Vaibhav. In today's session, we are seeing quite volatile moves in the market, both in the currency as well as in the equity segment of the market. And if we were to look at the Euro USD in particular, at one point in time, the euro was trading more than 100 pips against USD, and now it has shown some recovery and it is hovering around 1.22. But still, I think from short to medium term perspective, the steep decline observed in today's session is likely to cause the change in trajectory, and we will be going into the details and we will see how the things are likely to shape up in the coming parts of this week. If we consider the trading context here, the major development has been the discovery of new coronavirus strain, and that has resulted in the isolation of the United Kingdom all over again, and many of the European as well as the other continental countries have banned the movement of people from the United Kingdom to their respective countries, and that has resulted in the sale of in major equity indices around the world. And if we consider the European equity indices in particular, most of the major equity indices are lower by more than 3 percentage point, and also the US equity indices futures are trading lower at the moment. Now, as the US session has got underway, we are likely to see the renewed volatility. So let's see how things will shape up. The other important thing which is on the agenda for the US Congress today is the passage of coronavirus stimulus bill. Here, the amount of the bill has been pegged at US 900 billion, and this is going to be helpful for the people who have been particularly affected, and it will grant the unemployment benefit and one time benefit for many US families, and this is likely to help in restoring the demand to some extent in the US economy. So let's see. I think the in all probability the bill is going to be passed, but till it is passed and it is signed into law by the US president, we can't be 100% sure. Still, let's see. Now, moving on to the technical front, we will first see what's happening in the Euro USD, and then we will also take a look on the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Let's start with the Euro USD's technical outlook. This is the daily time frame chart, and here, after making high closer to the 1.227, we saw this sharp deceleration, and in today's session in particular, after this gap down sort of open, we saw again renewed selling pressure, which brought the Euro USD closer to its consolidation phase levels. But from the lower side, it has recovered to great extent, and now it is again trading around 1.22. But if we were to look at it, its trajectory, I think we are more likely to see it consolidating with a bearish bias in the rest of this week rather than recovering and trying to continue its bullish march. So we will be trying to figure out if it indeed changes course and if it goes into a retracement mode where the possibilities will rise of its decline towards this 23.6% Fibonacci retracement, which is there around 1.21, and even below that to 38.2% Fibonacci retracement, which is there around 1.200. So we will be trying to see if that happens to be if that development comes true in coming sessions, we should be in a position to profit from such possibilities. So we will be looking at the optimum entry and exit points in that kind of scenario. If we consider the lower time frame chart, the 4 hourly charts for the Euro USD, then we saw it failing to sustain above this second resistance of this month's pivot point series, and then after today's gap down open, we saw this sharp sell off, and that has brought the Euro USD in the lower band of this regression curve. And if the price action remains in the lower band, then we will see more and more flattening of this regression curve, and that will be the pointer to the fact that Euro USD has run up quite a high and it might be the time for some rest. And in such kind of scenarios, it will also make sense for us to adapt the scalping opportunities while trying to sell on the higher side closer to the immediate swing highs and then waiting it out till it gets closer to the immediate swing lows, as we are expecting the bearish to sideways momentum to prevail in the larger part of this week. On the lower side, as I said, the first support will be coming into play closer to this consolidation phase low. So on the lower side, we can again expect it to decline towards 1.21, and then if it does breaks below even that level, then the next target will work out closer to the 1.20. So if you want to target the trading opportunities in today's session, I think this 100 SMA zone is going to be of high importance for us. And I feel if we see consolidation happening closer to this 100 SMA zone, we should be going in for the fresh trades on the short sell side while targeting the retest of these immediate swing lows in coming days. And on the higher side, these prior swing low established in Friday station can be taken as our decisive marker. So as long as the price action is happening below that, below this 50 SMA price area, we can indeed be confident of possible continuation of the bearish trajectory in the Euro USD. And if we want to go for the stop loss, I would suggest that any stop loss little above this prior swing low should be good enough. So for a entry anywhere around 1.22, we can indeed look for the stop loss to be kept closer to 1.225. That's a stop loss of 50 pips. But given the volatility, that shouldn't be considered too large a stop loss. Of course, we will have to reduce the exposure. We will have to keep the lot size lower, as we are taking the risk of around almost 50 pips, and as a result of that the risk is going to be significant if we trade with the high exposure. So to cut down on the risk involved, we will have to look for the lower lot sizing, and then on the lower side we can expect the retest of 1.210, and that is going to give us the risk reward ratio of 1 is to 2 as well. Now moving on to the equity segment, here we will cover the Dow Jones Industrial Average technical outlook. Is the daily time frame chart, and after this extended consolidation closer to the 30,000 mark, finally we are seeing the significant break on the lower side, and as I have explained to you, the reason is also quite prominent, and that has resulted in the sharp sell off in today's session. And I am expecting, unless and until there is fresh recovery above the consolidation phase highs, I am not really expecting the bullish trajectory of the industrial average to come into play again. Rather than that, as was the case with the Euro USD, we can be fairly hopeful of the consolidation phase with the bearish bias. So here also we will be looking at the short selling opportunities rather than to look for the buying opportunities. And on the lower side, I feel that we can indeed target the price zone of these prior swing highs, and at the same levels we also have around the same levels we also have these 38.2% Fibonacci retracement of its rally, starting closer to the 26,000 and going all the way towards more than 30,000. So that retracement is also probable given the fact that it has extended rally and then it has entered into the consolidation phase, and now we also have the bearish break. So taken together, all these factors are pointing to the retracement to some extent, and that's what we should be banking on. Now, looking at the Dow Jones Industrial Average consolidation phase, where the regression curve has also bent on the lower side, and we had almost identical swing highs being formed for last multiple days. If we exclude today's all-time high, which was there around 30,400, and it was the initial hour of today's session. We saw the Dow Jones Industrial Average opening on the higher side, but then as more and more countries started to take action and started to banned the flights originating from the United Kingdom. We saw this plummeting of the equity indices, and that took the US equity indices also lower. So both these now factors, the regression curve as well as the price action, are pointing to the possible bearishness in the price area. And one thing which we also have to take note of is the pivot point series here in terms of price action. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is kind of caught in between the support on the lower side around 28,700, and on the higher side we have the resistance around 31,000. So all these factors are not really on one side. We have the pivot point series, which is still to some extent pointing to the continuation of the bullishness. But we have the regression curve, which is increasingly looking bearish for the Dow Jones Industrial Average. And now I think more or less we will have to rely on the price action, where we also have now the fresh formation of the swing low. So unless and until we see the new swing high being formed, I am expecting the bearishness to exceed, and that is likely to dominate in next couple of sessions. So if we want to go for the fresh trade position, I would say that we can be relying on this confluence zone of 50, 100 and 200 SMA. So unless and until we see the break the price action moving past these immediate hurdles, I'm not really expecting the sharp rally on the higher side. So if we want to look for the trading opportunities in today's session, we can indeed look for short selling opportunities anywhere closer to the 30,000 mark in today's session, while keeping the stop loss little above this SMA confluence area. So the stop loss of around 30,000 250 to 30,300 should be good enough. And for that kind of risk, for the risk of around more than 1 percentage point, we can expect the retest of this low, which was formed closer to the 29,400. So we are expecting that this bearishness, this newfound bearishness, is likely to sustain in the Dow Jones Industrial Average. And if that is going to be the case, it will be natural for us to keep continuing to look for the short selling opportunities while going with the optimum risk reward ratio also. And unless and until we see the sharp up move, I am not really expecting that this today's decline is likely to be erased. And rather than that, if we see this retracement continuing, and if the price action stalls closer to or below this 30,000 mark, then I think after due consolidation of couple of hours, that will be the time to get involved for fresh shorting opportunities in the Dow Jones Industrial Average. So that's it from my side for today's session. If any of you have any query or any idea to share, you can give me the feedback in the comment section, and I would be more than happy to take the discussion forward. Before I sign off, I would also like to remind of the risk associated with trading in the financial instrument, and one should be careful while using the information provided. Have a fabulous day ahead. Goodbye.